All right, shalom. Tanaya Stalin. So, you Wyndham again, Wyndham Lijefdi or Yefdea, Johannes William Manuel of RastafariRenaissance.com, RastafariGroundation.com, and also be sure to check out our Blog Talk Radio channel for Discipleship Radio or this DSR. And the last zero or the O in radio being a zero. So, we enter into, this winter season, and this Hebrew month of Kislev or Kislo, as, one of my brethren mentioned, is the darkest month of the year, according to the Hebrew calculations. And so, in this month, there is a celebration or a moedim, a appointed time, in which the Hebraic calculations always acknowledge the Feast of Dedications. It's known from the New Testament readings in the Gospel of John, chapter 10, verse 22. And it's also known as the Feast of Lights, or as many would know it today as Chanukah. Now, Chanukah, of course, having its, significance, in the world today, as some would know it, and even some have speculated to the point of thinking that it's some Jewish or Hebraic equivalent to Christmas. But of course, that's total farce, of course. But for my brothers and sisters, of course, who are studying with us and, learning more about these things and learning the origin of how they came about and how they're practiced, so on and so forth. I just really want to hit on a few key points, just for my brothers and sisters to really kind of, expound upon, and that way they can gain more knowledge on this subject. Because once you really start going through not only the Torah portions, brothers and sisters, especially of Rastafari and, Ethiopian Hebrews and Ethiopians at home and abroad, of course, you really start to gain a perspective, not only these historical events, but in how they developed from century to century. And then you really start to understand not only the events that took place, but the aftermath that took place coming up to this point. And also you get to realize the players, in these significant events. And that's what really opens your eyes up to a lot of the things that are going on today. And I say this because we come to this celebration of Chanukah, or Chanukah, the Feast of Dedication or the Festival of Lights, from the Amharic equivalent in the Ethiopic, Yemekdes Metades Be'al. You really start to understand what's really going on in the Levant. And I say that because just to pinpoint some keynotes and words and people and phrases for Chanukah, for my brothers and sisters who study with I on certain various platforms, we have to realize, brothers and sisters, that this was a time of revolt, a time of uprising to oppression. And the oppressive government at that time was actually the Greco-Roman Seleucids, or the Seleucids in the Greek. So it's significant in this point that we really kind of get into these pinpointed subjects. And the Seleucids is one good point. The Pharisees is another good point. The Hasidim is another good point. Judas Maccabeus, or the Maccabees, and it's really Yehuda Maccabi, in certain different pronunciations, and also Hakohen Metityahu. Some may know it as Matis Yahu from the Yiddish speakers that are out there, and of course may check this video out. But of course, from biblical Hebrew perspective, it will be Metit Yahu or Metet Yahu, as in Matthew. This point brings us also to the Ha-Heshmonim, or the Hasmoneans, in which this Maccabean revolt came about. And of course, they were revolting against this Greco-Roman oppression that was coming about. Another point to look up and study is Antiochus. I'm pretty sure that's the fourth. And this is kind of tying in with the Ptolemies and some of the foreign rulers over Egypt at a certain time. So people always try to distort the times and the rulers of quote unquote Egypt or Kemet, so on and so forth. But there were many rulers over Egypt at a certain time. So really getting the ages and the significance of the rulers in the right perspective is always important. But we're focusing here on Chanukah. Chanukah, of course, is just the main focus here. But we've hit on certain points, and hopefully, ones are able to kind of jot these down and be able to have the time to look it up later and really gain some more perspective on this. And another point, of course, with this being the Greco-Roman era of quote unquote dominance or oppression, especially over Judea, we have to, of course, bring in Alexander the Greek, or Alexander the Great, as ones would know him in the world. And Nicanor, of course, is another significant point for study and reference, just gaining more grounds on this significant appointed time from the Hebraic calculations. But all-encompassing, Chanukah was a very significant time because it was a time of uprising for the Hebrews. And the Hebrews and, of course, the Judeans, the inhabitants of Judea in the time of the Greco-Roman dominance, or their really push, for expanding their government. And really, they had co-opted, so much within the Hebraic traditions and the Hebraic communities, to the point that where this Maccabean revolt, started to take hold in Judea. And at the point of facing off with the Greco-Romans, or the Greeks and the Romans, and the mixed multitude of those peoples from those, of course, governments and principalities, to the point of where it was really becoming a very serious matter. And so Chanukah was really a humongous spark in that, significant event that would lead to more events down the road. And of course, Flavius Josephus records many of these events in his histories. You would really do yourself a favor in going to study more of Flavius Josephus as a historian, in the point of the Jewish and Roman wars, as he would classify them, or the publishers of his works would, and the translators would, of course, expound upon. But this would really give you more of a encompassing understanding of this time. So again, just pinpointing a few of the points here, brothers and sisters, just to get you, started in really understanding what this time of year is all about, and this whole anticrisis, as we would say, amongst our own Rastafari Ethiopian Hebrew circles. will really start to come full circle to you, and you'll really start to gain some grounds on what's really going on here. Because Syria is also an important point, not only of today, but from the times of the spark of Chanukah also. So really get down to business in your studying, brothers and sisters, because this is really going to, pop out at you from year to year, especially as you continue on and really start to, grasp what you're really studying and reading and learning and seeing also out here in this world. You'll really see that times really haven't changed as much as they seem.